change is scary. It's really, really scary. You might have people working in organizations where the tacit knowledge that they've accumulated over 30 years of doing a particular task, naturally people can be protective of that, but what we endeavor to do, again, is not go into companies and talk about a 2-year change process. Like, where we want to start is with the unpleasant work. Like, where we want to start is with the work that human accuracy isn't at the required level. So, definitely readers or listeners of this publication will identify with, very often legacy systems and moving data from one point to another, copy and paste stuff, but these are the types of unpleasant work that really people don't want to do. What we need to be able to do is to free people up to do higher value tasks within an organization. So when you can bring teams along and leadership along with like moving that type of, human heavy, kind of cognitively difficult and tiring work and use AI to solve those, and that really helps on the change management journey. People buy in. When people get to weigh in early, they buy in to it. So when we start working with organizations, it's not about a big, hairy, kind of audacious end goal kind of AI solution. What we like and what we want to do is build it down into chunks. Okay, so we look at AI use cases and we look about creating a flywheel. So some use cases that we will look to will be quick. They will add value quickly, maybe a 12-week process of development. And then we look to compound on further use cases, each one that adds value in its own right to the organization. So it's the classic, you can't eat an elephant with one bite. Break it down into chunk-sized pieces, each one which adds value. What you see then is a flywheel being created where the momentum is building on and helping AI be accepted in an organization as an everyday. AI can't be a bolt-on within an organization. AI needs to be kind of intrinsically part of a strategy. And when we see organizations adopting that, we know we've been successful. In relation to concerns around data and data governance and data privacy and everything that goes with GDPR and where data is hosted and where data resides, that has been a big concern and will remain a big concern. I mean, it's critical to overall governance within large organizations. I guess when talking about data sovereignty, it's more than data sovereignty we're talking about. It's the data, it belongs to the organization and will continue to belong to the organization. But when you start using hosted solutions that exist in the cloud, in AI's hyperscaler cloud, you're not just potentially putting your data at risk, you're putting the processes and the output of that at risk also. In the world we live in today, when we look across the water in the US and other jurisdictions, where policy is being created that is asking for access to these systems, and that should create concern for large organizations. So the first place to start is understanding what AI is and what types of data we're happy to put in the cloud. But there are also options for organizations to keep that data in-house and looking at local inference and being able to ensure that data is processed close to where the action has happened. So we're working with organizations on that right now, where we're not pushing to the cloud on certain tasks. We're looking at ensuring that data sovereignty is held within house, and the risk of not just the data, but the processes and the standard operating procedures and the output of AI isn't available in different jurisdictions, or maybe where governmental policy will allow for access. We're very much at the early stages of AI, and these types of problems will continue to surface. But we're seeing, certainly within the regulated space, banking and insurance, a kind of a sigh of relief now that it is possible to run these models locally and to keep the data safe, secure, but continuing to add the same level of value. In 5 years, success, it's not even success, this is a must. There is no other way around that. AI needs to be woven into the very fabric of how organizations work, not AI as a bolt-on, okay? So success will be measured on AI assisting and enabling the right decisions to be made with higher velocity. Because again, legislation will require that humans in the loop and humans ultimately making the final decision is important, and it's critical actually, in fact. In terms of success for organizations, being able to not have a reliance on your large SI companies, not having a reliance on Brightbeam. We would see it as a measurement where they don't have a dependency on us to maintain and operate their systems. We operate a give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but teach him how to fish, and you feed him for life. That's how we would measure success. Sure, we will be part of an organization's plans when it comes to complex AI problems, but the capability is there for companies to upskill current staff or to bring in staff to manage these models now at a much lesser cost than it had done previously. So there's a whole range of success factors as to why in 5 years AI will have a fundamental impact positively on financial organizations, but those that don't move fast will be left behind. And this is the same for the large companies that have been around for 200 years as to the new companies. We've seen it in other markets. We've seen the disruption that the likes of Revolut, the disruption that Apple with their iPhone, and you look at the sad cases like Nokia, why didn't they move faster? This is time to move fast, and the value is there to be had now, but over the next 5 years, it needs to be woven into the fabric of every organization. And this requires that everybody is aligned to what AI can do, how they can and should use AI, but equally what guardrails are in place.